Laura A. Grace here, the author of Dear Author, Letters from a Bookish Fangirl, Team Lines of Poetry Collection, and Finding God Anime Devotional for Otakus, which is free on a variety of platforms. I'll leave a link down below in case if you'd like to check it out. Happy Friday, my friends! I'm so excited you're here. I'm so excited for this video. In fact, when I was setting up for this video, I was like, man, it feels like it has been forever since I have filmed, and I'm just so happy to be here. I'm so excited that you're here because today's video is really special. I am doing a collaboration, and I am just over the hills excited because, oh, it's just gonna be so much fun. So I am doing a collaboration with the YouTube channel My Waifu and Me. They are super awesome. They are a couple that reviews manga, does manga hauls, and does, what was the name of their last video they did? But it was a really great video, and I found some awesome recommendations through them. So I highly recommend checking out their channel. Go subscribe, see what they're reading. They are so much fun to watch, very enjoyable, and yeah, go check them out. So I came to them, I was like, guys, I love your channel, want to do a collaboration? And they're like, yeah, let's do it. I was like, yeah. So I was like, here's my idea. My idea was, let's do a recommendation video of where the other person has to give 5 manga, and then the other person shares 5 manga that they think they would like based off of their list. So it's sort of like, if you like this, you'll probably like this. And let me say, My Waifu and Me, they sent me a list that I thought I knew manga, okay? I thought I was pretty informed, but then they sent me their list and I was like, I have no recommendations but one. And so I had to go do some research, and that was a lot of fun. In fact, I read different manga that I probably would have not picked up otherwise if it hadn't been for them. So thank you, My Waifu and Me, for helping me branch out and try other stuff. So are you guys ready for this video? I'm so excited. So let's jump right in for their number 1, and on their list it was One Piece. And I just have to say, can we say how epic it was that One Piece was the first on their list? I love One Piece. I'm super behind in actually reading the manga, but I'm really loving the anime a lot. In fact, I found out that my husband is actually starting to read the manga, and I was like, what? I was gonna read the manga and beat you because we're just weirdly competitive in this way and read it before he did. So I'm like, I have to step up my game. But this is the one on the list that I had a quick recommendation for, and I'm so excited, and that is Destiny's Hand. This is an omnibus collection. It has 3 volumes in one, and fun fact about this series is that the 3 volumes are actually free on Amazon as of filming this video. I'll leave a link down below if you guys want to snag a copy. I chose Destiny's Hand for a recommendation of that I think they would like this since they did One Piece. I feel like the biggest thing is there's no other pirate manga that I know of but One Piece. I love pirates. In fact, I feel like Destiny's Hand really reminds me of Pirates of the Caribbean, but sort of more low-key and just in a manga form. It does not have actually a lot of One Piece vibes. There are some magical elements a little bit. It's very, this isn't a bad thing, okay? But I feel like this is more tropey or cliche pirate stuff. Again, that's not a bad thing. I totally do not mean that in a bad way at all. So also, what Destiny's Hand has going for it that I think also would be great for One Piece fans is that Destiny's Hand is significantly shorter, okay? It has 3 volumes, and One Piece is what? We are about to, well, I know volume 100 has already released in Japan, but I mean, we have 100 volumes, and we're still ongoing. So if you're really you know what, I want some pirates, I need something low-key, gives me some pirate vibes, Destiny's Hand definitely delivers that. And like I said, it's free on Amazon as the digital e-copies, which is a great deal. I feel like this one has a little bit more romance than One Piece did, which I personally liked. It was sort of like Forbidden Lovers, and I sort of forgot there for a second because I was like, what was it again? But it was sort of like Forbidden Lovers, which I liked it, but it's very low-key. But just like One Piece, it has a lot of action that's going for it. It has a few twists and a few turns, and again, it has a little bit of that magical aspect. We don't have any of the super awesome fruits in this, but it has all of the pirate vibes. So I think if you like, if you like One Piece, I think that you guys would also like Destiny's Hand. For number 2, and I hope I'm saying this one right, it's Golden Kamuy. I think that's how I say it, K-A-M-U-Y. I had to go do some research on this one, and I've actually never read this manga before, and I had seen clippets of the anime, but this was the first time I really like checked it out to see what it was about. And as I was reading, I was pretty shocked because the main guy, I cannot think of his name, he is very eccentric. Like, he is a very interesting main guy to be following in this story. So I did some research to see what could be a good fit for this one. And while I have not personally read this manga, I have seen it recommended, especially from Meet the Weeb Family Dad, and that is Blade of the Immortal. And Blade of the Immortal is about this samurai who basically has been cursed from a witch, and he can't die. He has immorality, and he decides one day that he wants to have his morality back. And to get his morality back, he decided that he was going to kill 100 evil men for every good man he killed in the past. The witch that cursed him agrees that yes, he could get his morality back for him going on this sort of like quest. And as he decides to implement his new thing I was supposed to say new law, it's not new law, but as he decides to implement this decision, he comes across a young girl whose name is Rin. And Rin is also on a quest for revenge because a sword school had actually killed her family. So the main guy, he decides he's going to help this young girl, not only help her fulfill her quest for revenge, but also his own quest to get back his morality. But as he's on his quest and he's doing these things, he has to make sure that he doesn't fall into that urge of revenge and that path of vengeance and just getting swallowed back up in that and going back down the wrong path. When I was reading the preview of Blade of the Immortal, like hands down, the samurai reminded me of the protagonist from Golden Kamuy. Like, they have the same eccentric, they have the same, I feel like just vibrancy on page, and I think that they would be like best bros if they ever happened to meet up. The setting is a little bit different because in Blade of the Immortal, it is taking place during the Edo period, and Golden Kamuy does not. It takes place during Japan, but it takes place in Japan, not during Japan. It takes place in Japan, and I just feel that they both have very similar goals, and that they may not be fighting for the exact same thing, but they are on a quest to fulfill a personal mission that they both have deemed that they want to do. There is also a lot of, I feel like, high stakes in both of them, and there is some pretty hardcore action, and I just feel like the main characters, like I said, just share a lot of vibes, so I feel like Blade of the Immortal would be a really good pick for Golden Kamuy. For number 3, it was Vinland Saga. So this was actually pretty cool. I have been very curious about Vinland Saga, and I was like, we're gonna go read it because I didn't know much about it. I knew the covers were epic, and it had Vikings, and I have on my Viking Fableband headband. That's Fablebands is the name of the company, but I have my Viking inspired headband on, and I was pretty fascinated by what I was reading. Originally, I was going to say or do a recommendation and say that I was going to choose The Heroic Legend of Arslan. I believe it's how you say that. But my library copies didn't come in time, and I read the first chapter and was like, I am not feeling it for this. And being similar, I think that it does have that historical feel that would be very similar. And I have been told that if I read past volume 1 or past the first chapter, that it does get more violent and it does have a lot of similar vibes more often, but I said my library copies didn't come in, so I wasn't able to read past the free preview that was on Crunchyroll. But when I was reading, and I also decided to change my mind because as I was reading, I was like, this reminds me of Kenshin, like, a lot. And so I'm gonna say Kenshin because you can't go wrong with Kenshin because Kenshin is absolutely amazing. I feel like, again, that both the main characters have a lot of similarities in that both of them are good at what they do. Kenshin, it was an assassin, and he was the Batosai, but now because this takes place during the Meiji era, so samurais are sort of, I don't say coming extinct, but, they no longer can do what they had done all of their lives. So Kenshin's basically making a new life for himself, but he's still known as the Batosai. People know who he is, that he was this amazing assassin that was, like I said, good at what he did. So as I was reading Vinland Saga, I can't remember that main guy's name, but Kenshin and him, I just felt like had a lot of similarities. They've been put in this they've been put in this tough situation. They're really good at killing people, and they sort of don't want to do that anymore. And they want to make a different life for them, but they have to sort of fulfill obligations that sort of go against what they want to do, but they have to do if they want to keep the people that they care for safe, or if they want to bring honor back to the family, or just to fallen comrades. Kenshin, it does have some of the historical vibes. It's not Vikings, it's samurai, but I feel like they do share that common theme of the historical aspect a little bit. I don't think Kenshin is quite as violent as Vinland Saga was. I mean, Kenshin, as we follow his story, you definitely, as the manga progresses, you do see him having to sort of revert back to who he once was, and there is some really epic action and fights that happen. I mean, I don't know what the name of the arc is off the top of my head, but man, as Kenshin is just going and he's facing these big guys, it gets really, really intense and it's very engaging. I feel like it almost sometimes leaves you conflicted because you're like, man, it's really cool seeing you kick all these guys' butt, but at the same time, we know this isn't who you want to be. So that gave me a lot of Vinland Saga vibes in that aspect. So hopefully Kenshin would be a really great recommendation for that one, and that hopefully you'll check it out. It's really good. The anime is awesome as well. For number 4, which was my hardest on this list to find an actually really good recommendation for this, because for number 4, it was Shaman King. And thank you, my waifu and me, because I really actually looked into Shaman King and it was so interesting. It was so good. And I will say that Shaman King is very unique. Like, I don't know of many other manga, or any until I did research for this video, that really have those same vibes. I mean, granted, the main dude, he definitely reminded me of Luffy from One Piece, because he's just very set, and like, if he's gonna do what he wants to do, he's gonna do it, and that's all there is to it. He laughs a lot, and I really actually did like that, and I was like, man, I would have said One Piece, but One Piece was number 1, and I was really excited for that. So I had to get some help on this, and shout out to the Manga Sloth, because he helped me, and I decided to go with Yu Yu Hakusho based off of his recommendation. And let's just say I really liked Yu Yu Hakusho, and though I have not technically read enough of Shaman King, I do feel like they have similarities, because it seems Shaman King is very tournament-based focused, which is really, really awesome. And it made me think of Pokemon, but I know you guys have Pokemon, so I heard that Yu Yu Hakusho does have that tournament aspect. You don't see it in Volume 1, and I read Volume 1 the night before this video, and I'm already like trying to get my hands on other volumes of this because it was so good. And the reason I am saying that I think you would like this one is because Yu Yu Hakusho shares the spiritual side that Shaman King has, where they're interacting more with spirits and spirit-like beings, and they're trying to help solve their problems or with other people. Though in this case, you know, in Yu Yu Hakusho, I'm pretty sure that the helping is just going to be like kick their butt, but that he does go and help humans in the real world. I also have heard that as the series progresses that you see a lot of similar like comedy moments, because a lot of the characters, not a lot of the characters, but some of the friendships are very similar from Shaman King that is also in Yu Yu Hakusho, or vice versa. And though, you know, this is completely unrelated, I did not know that the manga of Yu Yu Hakusho is also the manga of Hunter x Hunter. I was pretty mind blown by that. Like, I had zero idea. Like, I don't know, I was just really fascinated by that when I found that out. I think it was actually in the manga. Anyway, but I do feel like they share, yes, a very similar main characters, and that they have that spiritual aspect, and that it's going to be going into having these battles and these tournaments with other spirits to defeat them. And I think, yeah, that it would be a really good fit. And last but not least, for number 5, it was Dr. Stone. And I was pretty excited because I have been growing increasingly curious about Dr. Stone. I have a few friends who really, really enjoyed this series, and I was like, man, it just seems really interesting, because how many manga titles do we know of that are science-based? Though Dr. Stone, I feel like, has something going for it in that science is fun, that I'm not sure if every science manga has, but the first science manga that came to mind, I don't have it on hand personally because I read it from my library, is Cells at Work. I absolutely love Cells at Work. It is so, so good. So, and it is a science-based manga. It does not have the alchemy and whatnot that Dr. Stone has. But the reason I wanted to recommend Cells at Work for this is because it is a science manga, and I feel like it does teach in a really fun way, because Red Blood Cell and White Blood Cell are absolutely amazing, and I honestly feel like I am Red Blood Cell in so many ways. But I feel like they do share a similarity there, and like I said, that it's a fun way to present science, and I have heard heard that both Dr. Stone and Cells at Work have helped people pass their like biology classes and such. I think it was anatomy and physiology for Cells at Work, but I was like, well, they definitely have that in common, because how many manga do you know help you actually pass like a college class? There are quite a few more characters, I think, in Cells at Work, and it's not purely focused on one character like as in Dr. Stone is. I mean, Dr. Stone has other characters as well, but Dr. Stone is like the main, or the guy is the main character. But I think that's mainly the biggest things that they have in common. An honorable mention that I do want to say, because though while yes, I definitely would say Cells at Work for one, that I think that if you like Dr. Stone, you would like Cells at Work, because they're just both fun in my opinion. It was a manga I would have recommended this one, though I will recommend this one as an honorable mention via anime, and that is Science Fell in Love, So I Tried to Prove It. It was on Crunchyroll streaming at the time when it was airing. I don't know if there's 2 seasons or 1, but it shares a lot of the humor aspects that I feel like Dr. Stone has, because while Cells at Work does have some humor, it's not like super humorous. I mean, there's definitely humor in Cells at Work, but I feel like Science Fell in Love, So I Tried to Prove It definitely has more, and they're more of actual scientists that are really trying to prove love and how a person is in love and experimenting. So you have a lot of different shenanigans that are there, but that would be a one that I would also, I guess, recommend. And I can't believe that is the end of the list. I hope that I was on point for these recommendations in that the list that my waifu and me sent to me. And if you guys have any recommendations, you're like, Laura, you should have done this, totally let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts and comments. And again, thank you, my waifu and me, for just doing this collaboration with me. I hope that if you check out these manga titles, I hope that they were on point and that they fit. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts, and just thank you again for doing this with me. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you guys would love to see more videos like this, totally let me know. Have a great day, friends. Bye!